Well, the Warriors tough down the stretch and unfortunately doomed the Sixers. Their 7-game road win streak has been snapped. As we welcome you here, thanks for staying up. This is Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Amy Fiddle, Jim Lynam, and Mark Jackson. And you have a monster game from Joel Embiid, but we know no James Harden, so you needed other players to step up. I mean, it's a little bit disappointing, Mark, when you have your MVP candidate score 40-plus, flirt with a triple-double, and you don't get the win.
Absolutely. It's a little frustrating, disappointing. You can say all the words you want. The interesting thing is you look at Steph, you look at Clay, you look at Poole. These guys had some major shots late in the game that kind of took over the lead, and we was able to get back into it.
I mean, Steph Curry's going to do Steph Curry things. They took 50 three-pointers. They lead the league with 43. They blew right by that, I think, halfway through the third quarter. When you're looking at it, Jim, I mean, that makes them a very formidable opponent. No matter who's in for you defensively, you have to always guard against that three line.
Yeah, and it's tough to do because of the way they play. And I'll tell you what it does. It puts a lot of pressure on you at your offensive end to make a decent percentage of your threes. As you say, they shoot 50 threes. The Sixers only made 8 threes in this game, and to me, that really spelled their doom. I thought they played pretty well offensively. They simply couldn't knock down enough three-point shots.
57% of the shots that the Warriors took were from beyond long range.
Wow.
That's a high percentage. We mentioned the guards making those shots down the stretch, and they made them in buckets. So we got to check out our Colonial Nissan Game Changer. When you have guys that are this good at shooting a three, we know that Steph Curry has range, but you have a guy like Jordan Poole who plays his best ball, I think, against the Sixers. He's a leading scorer back here in December, and you see what he was able to do tonight, Jim.
Yeah, and Poole really aimed percentage-wise. You know, he's not a great three-point shooter. Tonight he shot it better than he normally does. But simply the number that they take, it puts so much pressure. You know, I remember way back when the three started becoming popular, and those who were the proponents, and they said, we have to make 1/3. You shoot 100 shots. If you make 33 threes out of 100, 1 out of 3, you have 99 points. If you shoot all twos, you have to make 50.
Yeah.
It's very hard. Right there, you saw the play, 3 out of the corner.
Yeah, 3 is always going to beat 2, and you see that with the Warriors. The Sixers hung close, though. They shot the 3 pretty poorly when you're looking at it overall, certainly compared to their average. But then, Mark, when you see you're not shooting the 3 well, and then you don't get the stops, that's a recipe for a loss.
It is. You can't. You know this team is going to jack up 3 every other time or more, and you're not able to get those stops, and you're kind of struggling on the other end. It's a hard current to fight against, especially when you're not at home. A lot of times, some of them shots would fall, but when you're on that road, your defense needs to travel. But when you're going against a high-octane offense that just relies so much on the ability to shoot the 3 because they have 2 of the greatest shooters ever, you know you're in for a long night.
I got a fun trivia question for you. If I told you that Joel Embiid had 46 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and Steph Curry only made 2 threes, how much would the Sixers have won by?
10.
But that's not what happened. I mean, that's crazy. But obviously, Jordan Poole, he was 6 of 11 from 3. Klay Thompson, 6 of 13 from 3. So when you have their other guys that are able to step up, at 33 points, leading scorer for the Warriors tonight. He was the leading scorer. Jordan Poole was. When I mentioned it, they played here back in December. That was a Warriors loss. These are the numbers probably from Steph Curry that you would accept, Jim. But
absolutely.
You can't have Jordan Poole get 33.
No, he gets Poole makes half his threes, 6 for 11, and there's Klay Thompson with another half 6 threes. So between the 2 of them, they have a dozen threes. Yeah, it's very, very tough. You have to, as I say, this is the way they play. They lead the league in shooting them, and at home, they're going to make obviously a better percentage. All teams do, and they're a handful.
I mean, you're looking at Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. They combined for 50-plus. If you limit them, and I say that nicely, limit them to whatever these numbers, 29 and 21, where to go defensively wrong on Jordan Poole for you, Mark?
I just think Jordan Poole had his way. First of all, this Golden State offense is not normal. It's not the way they move. It's continuous with all 5 guys on the same page. It's continuous movement, finding opportunity to get going, and after you keep getting 48 minutes there, you have these lacking moments where Golden State find a way to get a bucket, and Jordan Poole coming off the bench for this team provided that spark for them.
Yeah, they had 5 guys in double figures. We mentioned the 3-point shooting. Sixers 8 for 29 from 3. They're usually one of the best in the league. Actually, over a certain stretch, they have been the best in the league. Was it defensively that the Warriors were presenting something, or a night of just the rim wasn't kind?
Again, I'll look forward to hearing what Doc says. I thought the Sixers got pretty good shooting opportunities, Aim. They simply, some nights you don't shoot it as well as you're capable of shooting it. If you played this game tomorrow night, I'd be pretty confident with the same kind of shots, the Sixers would shoot a higher percentage. Unfortunately, not the case tonight.
Well, the case was that Joel Embiid absolutely went bonkers. We mentioned it. He's out of the gates 13 points without even blinking an eye. He finished with 46 in about 38 minutes of work. You can see his numbers there. Free throw, no surprise. He got to the charity stripe plenty. And I mentioned he flirted with the triple-double. He is our stargazing, brought to you by Get Covered New Jersey. I know he's always going to get his numbers, and that's going to be appreciative. It was great to see him, play this much, especially after missing the entire second half, sitting out with that mild calf strain. Clearly doesn't bother him, but he would rather probably have the win, Mark.
Absolutely. The numbers don't mean nothing. It's the most important stat don't matter, and that's the W. You need the W to come out of there. I'm quite sure Joel would take 12 then at 40-something and come out and win. Well, with that being said, he's still a bad dude. Look at that.
You ain't kidding. Some of these, we say it all the time, Jim, but some of these moves, especially when he's bringing the ball up in the open court and he looks like a guard out there, and then you have to remember that he's 7 feet tall and he can just muscle his way in. Kevon Looney is not looking forward to going against him anytime soon.
No, and really, what you just said, Aim, is really right on target. He looks like a guard, and guess what? He plays a lot of times like he's a guard. A guard meaning a perimeter player with his skill set, which is really why he's such an amazing, amazing athlete. Yes, he has tremendous size. He's got tremendous girth. He's incredibly athletic, but he plays like a guy who's like a really good player at like 6'2". Phenomenal, just phenomenal. I love watching him.
Jimmy, on a night where you don't have James Harden, who's obviously the facilitator, but he can get you buckets. He can certainly score 20 points if that's what the team needs from him. Is it disappointing to see guys like DeAnthony Melton and obviously PJ Tucker, but Melton really in particular struggle shooting the ball 0 for 4 from 3?
Yeah, Melton 0 for 4, Tucker 0 for 5. And I really think, Aim, it hurt when Tucker missed his, because a couple of those occasions, literally, Golden State said, go ahead and make a shot. They gave him a shot out of the corner so they could gang tackle. It was Curry one time, and I think Klay Thompson on another occasion. So sure, coming up totally empty, 0 for 9 on those shooting opportunities, that hurts immensely.
Yeah, it didn't help that the Sixers bench was also very short. No Jalen McDaniels, no Daniel House, DeAnthony Melton into the starting lineup. So they only had a couple of guys and unable to overcome kind of a shorthanded night despite 46 from Joel Embiid. Back here on Sixers Postgame Live with our play of the game, and it comes courtesy, really, of Jordan Poole, but it's created by Steph. You see the defense collapsing right in there, Jim.
Yep. He had that pick and roll up top. He rejects it, goes the other way, and he has to pass that. So you see Joel lurking. He had to avoid having passing through him. He threw it backwards to Draymond. See it? See how the pass went back, and Draymond doesn't hesitate. He knows where his three-point shooter is.
Good challenge by DeAnthony Melton. He really got up there, Mark. Almost got a piece of that, but he didn't, and drained 3.
Great defense, better offense. Poole came through on that shot, man. That arc was so high. He shot that to the rainbow.
We mentioned that no Daniel House, no Jalen McDaniels. That's big because not only offensively, the Sixers obviously needed a little bit of help on their bench, but defensively, those wing players, they were unable to really kind of affect Jordan Poole at all, Mark.
Exactly. It's very interesting when your guy with length on the perimeter is not up there. And Melton, even though we know he's a great defender, I really believe sometimes your legs just give out. You can't continue to do that for long stretches of times throughout the game. But if he had more options to do that, kind of slowed him down. Could have slowed him down.
I'm sure it's something that Doc Rivers will address. Here he is from San Francisco.
Was it just a simple matter of just running out of gas? It just seems like Joel.
I thought Joel was great all night. I didn't like our shot selections other than Joel most of the night. I thought a lot of times we got in the paint, could have made extra passes, and we've been a great passing team. We just didn't do that tonight. And sometimes you want to beat a team, and so you start trying to, each guy try to do it themselves. And then defensively, I thought is where we were just shallow, not having D-House, not having Jaden. We didn't have enough guys defensively. Their bench really hurt us. Poole had an amazing game. We needed more length on the floor. We just didn't have the guys.
I guess to the point of not moving the ball, and just when so much relies on him, just what type of how much energy does he need to expend in a game like this, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's Joel Embiid. He does Joel Embiid things, you know. He was great overall. You know, having him up, we had him up a lot in our coverages, which is exhausting defensively. He did that. So, you know, no qualms there. Overall, you know, I loved his shots. I didn't like our first quarter shots really well. I thought we settled. And then I thought we got into the game and started moving the ball. And then in the third and fourth quarter, we went back to the way we played in the first quarter. So, you know, we missed a lot of wide open shots. I will say that. Just felt like we left a lot of offense on the floor. And that was troubling.
When you went back to George and down the stretch, was that just to get more shooting on the floor?
Yeah.
No, it's not a new story, but struggled at the beginning of the second and the fourth without Joel out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know Steph is out there, but what were they doing in particular was giving you guys trouble?
Well, we couldn't score, you know, and then that gets them out in transition, you know. So that was what was problematic. You know, obviously not having James. James usually starts the second quarter, so you have more offense on the floor. You know, we had Tyrese out there by himself with guys, and we didn't run good offense. That group overall this year, I would say, for the most part, we get a lot of continuity. We run a lot of stuff. Tonight, we just didn't do it. And when you don't have, you know, Joel or James on the floor, you have to run continuity, and we didn't do that tonight.